So I think one of the worst way this shit manifests for me, and again, I don't even know what to call it. I guess my autism, whatever. It makes sense in this context because what really sucks is kind of how I function socially. Um, and I'm very socially retarded, and what I find to be very painful about it as well is that when I was talking about how people see me as a lazy asshole, people see me as lazy because apparently I don't try hard enough at doing learning skills. Well, I I think some people perceive me as being an asshole in social conversation, and the insane thing is, I don't mean for that to happen. And in fact, it's not just like some slip of me being like slightly rude. Like I genuinely am trying to be as nice as possible, and I have no reason to be rude. And then just the way I words things comes across as rude to people when that's not intentional at all. And and so that's something that's pretty depressing to me, is the fact that a lot of people just end up thinking that I'm an asshole, and that I can make a social conversation. I'm just choosing not to. You know, after I've I failed to get social connection for so long, and after really wanting that as a normal human being, to think that I just have been throwing all that away because why not? That's pretty insane. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I've always felt, well, not always. I guess it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. I actually did used to have some friends I talked to on like Discord and stuff, but I, I was somewhat comfortable talking to them then. But later on, I got more and more socially anxious, and I eventually just stopped talking to them because it was too crazy. And the reason I was anxious isn't just because I have social anxiety, and I think I have like social anxiety worse than anybody because of the fact that I actually have a logical basis for it, and that logical basis is the fact that I don't think I can really contribute anything to a conversation or to a friendship or whatever when it comes down to just constructing sentences. I feel like the way I word things, and the way I would word jokes, or the way I would word a question or whatever, would be confusing and retarded. And I fundamentally wouldn't really have a grasp on what people find to be normal, and what people would actually respond to, and yeah, and actually would continue the conversation. I didn't know how to do that, and it doesn't just come down to broad things where I'm a little awkward or whatever. No, like I can't fundamentally construct a set of sentences in a way that communicates an idea and continues the conversation in a way that's logical and that's not retarded. The way I word things is like super retarded and embarrassing, and the questions and answers I come up with are stupid, and they don't continue the conversation correctly. And I feel like I'm really terrible at like asking questions and stuff. And the thing is, it's not because I don't want to ask questions, because I know like it's a symptom of autism apparently that you just want to talk about yourself. But the thing is, I am interested in other people, and I do want to talk about other people, but I'm just really terrible at it. And I feel like I have no idea what questions to ask. I have no idea where to fundamentally take the conversation. I have no idea what to even say or how to say it. And I feel like every sentence I come out with is just fucking retarded and the most embarrassing thing ever. And immediately after I say it, or I type it out usually, it's just humiliating. Last time I tried to have a conversation, I literally had an anxiety meltdown, and I was like shaking and sweating, and my vision was blurry, and I was like breathing hard. And I think it was kind of because of the fact that honestly, that's probably more of the anxiety as well. I think that's a legitimate thing, but I think the reason it's so bad is because I fundamentally cannot hold a conversation. I cannot fundamentally build a connection with someone. Everything I say, the very way I word sentences and like approach conversations is always and in every way just retarded, autistic, and embarrassing, and just like subhuman and like alien, just terrible. And it's so fucking bad. I just feel like I come across as any like low functioning autistic in how they talk. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration. There's actually kind of like an Aspergian aesthetic, I think, to a lot of the way a lot of high functioning autistic people talk, and I think I'm worse at it. I think I'm actually worse at social situations than most autistic people, and I think it's more of a fundamental thing for me as well. Like I don't know. I don't even understand what they think the conversation is. I don't understand what they're thinking, or what they wouldn't talk about. And so I don't know what to ask about. I don't know where to fundamentally bring a conversation. And like I said, I just feel like every way I consider how the conversation and the sentences should be constructed is just retarded and broken, and makes me look like a spurg, and a lot of times makes me look like an inconsiderate, terrible asshole, because of course I miss something that I guess is supposed to be obvious, but I fundamentally just do not have a grasp on. Because I cannot understand sentence. I cannot understand what they're trying to communicate, and I cannot communicate myself. So, in a way, just conversation is almost impossible, even without social anxiety, even without pressures, even if and this is a point I've come up with, like, even if I've had an infinite amount of time to come up with the responses to each message I get. So let's say it's like form messages. Even if I have like 24 hours to think of a couple of sentences to respond to somebody with, it will still be completely retarded, because it's not based on just anxiety or something like that. It's actually just the way I construct it. Even if I think about it and I even know it's retarded, right? And that's what's so crazy, right? Like, I know what I'm saying is stupid and retarded, but I just don't know how to make it not that. And I want to speak normally, but I can't. And I'm even self-aware about that, like, immediately. But there's just is nothing I can do, so I'm just perpetually being, like, super fucking retarded, and I'm self-aware about it in some ways. I'm sure there are a million ways I'm not self-aware, but I think I'm self-aware in a lot more ways than people might expect. Like, a lot of it is very obvious to me, just how retarded and how I end up talking about the wrong things and asking the wrong question and wording things in the wrong way and understanding things wrong and communicating things wrong and saying things in a retarded way and everything like that. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Again, it's like I can't fundamentally describe my problem, so people think it doesn't exist. It's a self-perpetuating, like, miserable cycle of just I can't express myself, that I can't express myself, and so it's just this infinite mental prison. Fucking forgot what I was talking about. What's even going on about? But it just sucks the fact that even if I mean a lot better, uh, I'm always going to be seen as a horrible, terrible person just because I haven't been born the right way to where I can understand convention correctly. And so, how much I try to be a good person and how good I intend to be, it doesn't fucking matter just because I've been born the wrong way. And I cannot understand or construct sentences in a way that's normal. And I've been thinking that I'm not even capable of like doing a job interview. Like I'm not even capable of answering job questions and saying things in a way that makes me look like a good person to hire, or is that, saying information that's useful and friendly and funny, like being a personable person or whatever, that's completely impossible. And look, that's the thing with getting a job. Getting like just a job at like a McDonald's, to me that seems like the most impossible thing ever. It seems like it's designed to be as impossible for autistic people as possible. At least it is for me. At least in my case, because like first of all, right, you have to be able to follow detailed instructions like really quickly or something. I don't know. You have to have good motor coordination. You have to be just skilled with moving things around, and I'm not very good at performing like basic tasks, and I'm not good at following instruction, and so I think I'd be terrible in a workplace environment like that, and I think I would fucking not do very well at all. And fundamentally, I want to be able to do the job in many different ways. But also, you just have to go to a job interview, and what they want you to be is they want you to be like a socially charismatic, friendly, outgoing person. And that is just like, holy shit. That is just designed to fucking kill me, dude. I cannot even begin to get close to that. Like, maybe I can make a sentence that communicates an idea so we can make a transaction, but I can't be like outgoing. I can't see it come across as like charismatic or in a way that's appealing to people. But that's what they need, and so it's like, well, I guess that's fucking impossible. But even just like talking to someone about like getting a job or just information exchange, I don't know. I feel like the way I would come across would be too retarded. The way I'd construct my sentences and my responses would be too retarded. And it'd be obvious in so many ways that I am an incompetent retard, and that I cannot, I don't know, I can't speak at the very least in a way that's normal and useful. I can't even look at people. I can't even make eye contact, which I know is actually like a common symptom of autism. But that's definitely a thing for me. And so it just makes like even like bare level social contact like very anxiety inducing. So like even when I'm walking past someone on the street, I have like an anxiety meltdown because like I'm so nervous to be near another human being. Because even though there's not confirmation, like where am I putting my eyes? How am I composing my fucking body? Do I look retarded doing that? I don't know. But that's based on legitimate stuff. It's not just anxiety. I mean, anxiety obviously is anxiety, but like it's exemplified by the reality that I am socially incompetent, and in a fundamental way I can't carry out a conversation, and I can't word sentences in normal ways, and then I can't make eye contact with people, many different things like that are necessary to communicating with people and to building connections with them. I fundamentally cannot do. I mean, there's many cases where I just type a single message out on some kind of forum, which like when I was like 11, I was on this certain forum, gaming forum or whatever, and I felt like right after I typed a message out, I mean this became more and more worse later on because I became more self-aware. I just recognized like how terrible the message was, and like it's partly like I knew it immediately, like no matter how long I stared at the screen trying to think about how I should use this word and then what word should I use there, like it would always be retarded. But there's also like things I would do where I would think it's somewhat normal, but then the other day it would be like the most embarrassing thing ever, and I'd be like, how the fuck did I think that was normal? Like I just fucking woke up from just insanity that I was on, and then I recognized how stupid and retarded that was. And yeah, it's really fucking embarrassing. I have so many humiliating memories that just like haunt me every day, and like all the time I just remember a bunch of embarrassing shit, and I kind of cycle through what to hate myself over. There's just things from my childhood. Sometimes I'll remember one event and I'll think that that's really embarrassing, but this other event won't seem that bad. And then later on, I'll start being embarrassed about that other event. And yeah, there are just so many reminders of how fundamentally retarded I am. And so it really sucks. Because, the embarrassing memories I have, which I can point to just show how retarded I am, people say it's like, oh, everybody has embarrassing memories, but the reason these are worse is because they just prove, like, just empirically show how fundamentally mentally disabled and incompetent I am, especially when it comes to talking to people. And it's like, you cannot dismiss that. It's like if you just dismissed someone talking, in an incoherent, like a low-function autistic way. It's clearly fucking not normal. It's clearly retarded, and I clearly can't fucking communicate with people. It's funny because it used to make me like really sad, and sometimes even a little depressed to think about how I would maybe never have any social connections, and I just find myself not caring about that anymore. Like I said before, like my standards for my life have gone down so much, and that's sometimes something people say, like, you just need to lower your standards. You just need to live a simple life. Dude, my standards for life at this point are so fucking simple. Like, I look at, like, incels and stuff who want, like, beautiful girlfriends, and I'm like, dude, I abandoned the idea of having a girlfriend, like, from day one, before I was even self-aware about this shit, okay? Like, my standards for, like, a life that would just be worth fucking living, and again, I'm not suicidal or anything, I'm just saying, like, what would be normally fulfilling, would just be normal, is so fucking low. It's so fucking low. I would be okay being a person who's totally isolated with no social life, who barely makes any money, who lives in a shithole house, if I could just be like independent and be able to support myself. That would fulfill me. I would be happy with that. But like that is not even, that would be like so broken, and maybe I could barely get a job, but I would lose it, and it would be miserable, and fundamentally, so many ways where I wouldn't be able to communicate with people, wouldn't be able to do the job, wouldn't be able to do these skills, wouldn't be able to make decisions about what to do in life, what to do with the house, what to do with anything. And when I talk about that, I don't just mean like broad decisions, I mean like, it's impossible to explain, but just like how to perceive, how to take care of a house and your life, and in many specific ways, just because how like a severely autistic person couldn't do that. Well, I feel like I couldn't do that in the same way. It just says fundamentally I don't understand it. So many ways where I'm just retarded and I won't know what to do. But that's a bit hard to explain, so I don't know. It's pretty interesting, just finding like everything, and I mean it's really everything, but just like finding all the different things in life that I feel like I have such an impaired ability to do because of my autism, or because of whatever this is. And I could try to list examples, and that would actually be really funny. But it's kind of too fucking weird, and I can't really. I don't know why, but that just doesn't come to me. But really, if I were to like narrate my life, it's just too mundane at this point. I may not even notice, but I could like list all the stresses. I feel like, oh shit, like I guess I can't do that. Like shit, I'm not going to be competent in this area. I'm never going to be able to do this activity very well. I'm never going to be able to not be fundamentally retarded and useless in this type of thing because of all this and that and that. And just like every single fucking thing. And it's like, wow, how retarded am I? I feel like I really am retarded.